Checking you in on a Friday here on Radio Row in Las Vegas for Super Bowl 58. It's the Mandalay Bay Convention Center, and we are joined now by Los Angeles Rams offensive lineman Steve Avila. Steve, welcome, man.
Thank you.
So, what, second year in the league now? We've got First year in the
done with my first. So
okay.
I'm on my
so rookie year. So rookie year after you do that, and then they bring you around here to Radio Row and just feed you to all of the.
Yeah, for sure. I like doing interviews though. It's nice.
That's good. That's a big part. So I know coming up in a like an hour or so, we're out of St. Louis. We have a Mizzou defensive lineman Darius Robinson coming onto the show, and I feel like a lot of agencies will bring around those incoming guys, and they kind of use this. They're like, hey, you know what? You're on your own. Go do it, because like the interview process of the combine probably is something that you've never experienced before last year, right?
Yeah, it was very much different. I mean, there's different mind games that you have to go through. There's, one of the best pieces of advice that I got from one of the guys that did go through the combine was like, always have to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's something that I never did. I'm always first to praise, someone else. But it's definitely, it's been different. I'm glad I did it. I feel like it's prepared me.
Yeah, and that's I think that's kind of the big thing of doing this at a young age, because you see some of the guys. I mean, you see some of the veterans. Who's the biggest personality in your locker room now?
Oh man, we have a lot. There's a lot of big personalities. I can't even pinpoint one guy, but I mean, I love the locker room, man. It's full of just amazing people. And
you get the guys that will do the hits and be on TV every week, and then you have, and then it gets even bigger. I think when some of these guys retire and they see what it's become now, I mean, the bigger, the louder the voice, the more money they're going to make.
For sure. And I feel like, as an offensive lineman, honestly, Jason Kelsey has, paved the way, to be able to do stuff like that.
Andrew Whitworth, the guy that just left your locker room.
Whit's doing a good job of doing that. I mean, it's a part of doing what we do. You got to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And it definitely plays a role in Pro Bowl voting.
And it seems like, offensive linemen, for as big as you guys are, you also do get kind of the respect of being, smart, one of those smartest guys on the field too, because of how much you need to know and kind of just shift with a lot of it.
For sure. I mean, I feel like the game's changed so much. I mean, you used to have offensive linemen. You think of an offensive lineman back then, you just think of a guy who's just like, I don't know why I defaulted to country accent.
Tough, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you still have some of those guys, but I do feel like offensive line is one of the most diverse rooms in all of football. So you have a lot of different personalities there. When you get to know a lot of people, it's definitely a fun time.
Since you've been walking around here, you, what are you, 6'4", 6'5",
6'3",
320, yeah, ish.
330.
Yeah, you're getting guys that, you're turning heads.
I hope so.
The hair, the way it looks too. It's
like
just the whole look.
I told myself I'd never cut my hair again. I have a little flow coming out my helmet, but one thing I do need is a stylist.
You play in LA. I think you'll be able to find one.
For sure, for sure. I'm just looking at some of the stuff these guys are wearing. I'm like, I gotta step my game up.
With the helmet on, because mine goes down past my shoulders, and if I'm doing anything like it always has to be wet. Like if I'm out doing, it's like just constantly pouring water. Yeah,
when you put your helmet on when your hair is dry, you start pulling, and you're like,
yes,
it sucks.
Yeah, and it gets frizzy, and you need it to stay down too. So as long as it's wet, I mean, it's kind of that that pro wrestler thing where they come out, they'll pour the water on their head, and you always wonder like, what were they doing before that? No, it's to keep it down the whole time.
For sure.
It's an art form.
I'm never gonna cut my hair again. I love it too much. So.
Ooh, that's gonna be like Troy Polamalu type.
Look, you talk about marketing.
There you go.
I need something.
Yes.
Ain't no way y'all look at this hair and be like, that guy can't market hair products.
Yes, there you go. Look at that. So you can get Brittany on that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you're playing with Matt Stafford, future Hall of Famer Matt Stafford. You come into the league like that as a rookie. What's the pressure like on you?
Oh, I feel like, we drafted 14 rookies. I feel like there was a lot of pressure on all of us because we knew what was expected. They didn't have too good of a year last year or the year before. and we knew we had to come in and play by our Olsen team, and it was nerve-wracking. I mean, you're blocking for I'm blocking for someone that I've watched when I was 11, 12. And one of the things.
You haven't told him that, have you?
I haven't. I was like, I'd be sure to always not do that. One of the first things I told myself was I do not want to get this guy hit. Like that's the last thing that I ever want. And it's happened a couple times. I'm not a perfect player, and the time that it did happen, I felt so bad.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the mindset you have to have as an offensive lineman. But I wouldn't want anybody else back there, but him.
What's a worse feeling, giving up a sack or getting called for a hold?
Oh, the sack for sure. I mean, at least you try to not do that. You know what I mean?
You think like you can get away with a hold. You can't get away with giving up a sack.
No. I'd hold more than a sack. Yeah. Like, hey, he's not gonna have his way, regardless if I'm breaking the rules or not.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, so what's the you say the marketing plan, LA, where do you feel, LA had a big offseason in a different sport with the Dodgers. And even though Shohei just went from one side to the other, from one LA to the other, it seemed like a bigger deal. Like it seemed, they made a bigger deal of that. And then the Chargers going out and signing Jim Harbaugh, that seemed like a big deal. Like, where do you feel the Rams kind of rank as far as visual, as far as the team in LA?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of history in LA, and I feel like coming off that Super Bowl, you establish yourself as a team to be looked at. Again, like I said, they didn't have too good of a year, but we wrote our own story this year.
Yeah,
we had a lot of rookies. People expected us to be bad, and we proved a lot of people wrong. We had two offensive rookie of the year finalists. And I'm just glad to be part of all that. So I feel like we've established ourselves to have ourselves looked at, next year. So, yeah.
Well, Steve, I appreciate the time, man.
Yeah,
it's been a fun.
It has. I appreciate you, man.